Welcome to the Vision Profiles podcast. Join us dedicated Vision Pro users as we dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty Gensius, a faculty member at a Midwest university, podcaster, and an Apple product fan.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to leave that in. That's going to be left in the video, Eric.
There's your title too.
That tea was really hot that I just spilled on my leg. I'm Eric Bolden, and I can't keep from spilling tea when I'm drinking. But my interest is in finding interesting ways to share content, currently photography of plants, birds, panoramic sequences. Ouch.
I'm Daniel Burkholder. I'm Eric Bolden's lawyer who's suing Marty for distracting him and burning his lap with the tea. No,
the man has not made a cue yet. 90 episodes.
But in reality, I'm just a software engineer and technologist currently interested in generative AI and AR/VR technologies.
And I'm Dave Ginsberg, the host of the Intentional iOS podcast, with a deep passion for technology, especially Apple, and how it's used in real-world environments. As an IT professional and iPhone subject matter expert, I'm continually discovering new ways Apple Vision Pro is shaping the future of computing.
Well, you can follow us on the live stream at youtube.com/@visionprofiles. Monday nights is when we record at 9 p.m. Eastern time, or catch the video later on YouTube and the audio on any podcatcher service. Generally, after the show's over, I try to produce it and get it before my head hits the pillow. So it's there for you within a couple hours. How is everyone doing?
Doing good.
Anything new? Good?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am crazy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of crazy with work and crazy with getting ready for this conference I'm going to go to and present 3 hours on AR, VR, an hour on AI and practical productivity tips and use for AI. And then I'm part of a panel group where they're going to talk about AI as it relates to group work. And they said, well, what part do you want to present? And I said, nothing, because I've been presenting. But at that time, I'll present for 2 days. But I'm putting together some resources for them to show, and I'll be with them to answer any questions. But it's 3 days. It's downtown Chicago. You know what that means? Billy Goat's Tavern. That's what it means for me. Grabbing lunch and having a good time. And Daniel's back. He's been doing good, making some changes. Happy to have him back here. And glad that you're part of the group tonight. No new betas to report. If something comes up in the next 24, 48 hours, I'll try and get something out on it. But absolutely no new betas. I watched all day and actually just updated to 26.3.3 beta 3 on one of my 2 headsets tonight. So nothing new in terms of beta. But the news is happy anniversary. Apple Vision Pro launched
2 years.
2 years. Now, when they're like launched, does that mean we got them in our hands or they announced it?
No, I think it came out. It came out in February. I think I must have been the second. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a pretty good article in Mac Rumors. There's actually one that's a little bit more extensive from appleday.org. And they palm some of the stuff directly from the Mac Rumors article. So everybody's spreading the same stuff around. But it goes into a little bit more of, well, now they introduced the M5 chip, et cetera, and the possibility of a lower cost Vision Air. So it goes into a lot of the history of it in here. I'm curious. When did you get yours, and what was the experience that you remember?
Well, I can go. I,
Yeah.
of course, didn't get it right away. I waited, what, 3-4 months before you twisted my arm, and I finally did it. Well, no, my wife was very generous and
Right.
took me into the Apple store and said, "Hey, why are we here?" I said, "Oh, you wanted this, so we're gonna get it." Really?
Yeah.
Nice wife. So yeah, I think it was like June, July,
Hmm.
maybe August was when I got it at that point. So, but yeah, I was blown away. I mean, when I first originally did the first demo at the Apple Store, it was really cool, and I think I'm not been disappointed. That's for sure.
Yeah. I got it on day of release. I went into the store to pick it up, which I think might have been the only way you could get it. I'm not sure if they were delivering
Yeah, I
them
think yeah,
to you.
because
And
of
so
the sizing and all
I,
that stuff. Yeah,
yeah, I went in and got it. Oh yeah, because of the sizing. That's right. Because they went ahead and redid
yeah.
that. I had ordered a couple of screens, light shields of different sizes because of just the confusion with that. I wound up taking them both home. But they were like, "Do you want to do a demo of this?" I'm like, "No, I have been reading on this long enough and waiting on this long enough. I just want to
Mhm.
go home and figure it out myself. And I'll come back if there's any problem." But it really wasn't that much of an issue to get it started. And spent a good deal of time the first week with it, just trying to learn the scenario. The movements and gestures are so much better now than it was when it first came
Oh
out.
yeah.
That it felt really kind of sluggish or kind of hard to get the gestures so the gestures would be recognized. Anyways, Eric, you went into kind of a share mode.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I didn't
Time
get
sh-
mine
you
right at the very
Yeah.
beginning because it took me a while to drum up enough support amongst a group of us for the group buy. So that was that April or May, I think. It was still early enough that the OS hadn't been updated and it wasn't really solid yet. But I ordered my inserts as soon as you could order them.
Hmm.
So I had my inserts for a good month before I actually had my device. And the inserts without the device don't do anything.
Yeah. For you.
What? No, I was like totally useless. But it did mean that when I walked into the store and picked it up, like I had the inserts and there was no waiting. I guess right now the inserts get stuck in customs for some extra days, so
Uh,
you need a couple weeks ahead to order them.
yeah, I remember you had just gotten yours. It probably was April because we started to do this show shortly thereafter because
Okay.
we had a few shows under our belt before Macstock, and so yeah, that was I remember that and trying to set that up and get Vision Profiles going as a podcast or video cast. Daniel, what's your story on it?
I mean, day one enjoyer. I didn't go to the store because I'm lazy. So, but they were doing deliveries, so I got it
Oh,
day one pretty early in the morning and was just pinching, poop, 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 pushing, pitching everything like crazy. Uh, Definitely don't regret the purchase. Still, if anything, not only do I not regret it, it reinforces my choice to have not partaken in any other types of headsets. I think I may have not even considered picking this up because I think I probably would have had an experience jaded from using other headsets, kind of like the meme of them just sitting on the shelf, and then, well, why am I going to get this? I'm just going to end up sitting it on the shelf. But I think my mindset going into it was just like I want good screen on face to start, and then like Mac Virtual Display, and then everything else is extra, and then going in like that. Just I don't know. I think for me, set the stage and set my expectations as well to then only go up from there. I wasn't expecting the world of it. Though more using it, and I would say my usage has gone down over time, and I wouldn't say there's any particular reason, but I still do get a lot of use out of it. I mean, I was just using it the other day. Being at the hospital for my friend's surgery, I seem to get a lot of use at hospitals this last year. um, I was in that thing for like I don't know, probably a solid 8 hours. It was a long surgery, and yeah. And actually, funny little side thing. I had my first real, what we could probably call a negative interaction using it in public, and I say that like mildly, but there was a woman who was very upset at me for using the Vision Pro in public. She was just so
Really?
upset with me. Yeah, and I could hear her, and she's like, "How can you believe he's like wearing that? It's so rude." And like I could, I just knew it was all about me, and I'm like, I can hear you. I didn't have any headphones on, and honestly, I don't know what her deal was. I mean, quite literally, I was sitting at a desk with a blank MacBook Pro, in front of me, virtual display, and I'm staring at a wall.
Yeah.
Like, what's the problem?
Hey, you know what's even ruder? People who make comments about other people's stuff.
Yeah,
It's like
really.
where does she come off being in charge of the polite police?
Now, to be fair, when I do use it in public in scenarios like that, I do try to be mindful about like where I'm sitting and like how. So like people don't perceive that I could be looking at them when I'm like, just
Yeah.
using my virtual screen over. Like I am mindful that is probably a strange interaction. And to not know if I'm actually looking at you or not. But like I said, I was staring at a wall.
Did you say anything to her at all?
Yeah, I was just like, I can hear you. And that was it.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of.
Yeah. Did you say, these are really X-ray goggles, and I can see that you don't have a soul?
No, that would be bad. No, don't do that in a hospital.
Yeah.
Well, that's all. I had to, when I came up with today, it was 2 years today. I got these articles in for discussion tonight, and I had to remember sort of what my experience was picking this thing up, and because I don't think I reflected on it last year. So yeah, it was interesting to hear your stories with this. Speaking of hospitals, we sort of covered this a while ago, where Rush Hospital in Chicago, and my brother-in-law is a retired physician who worked at Rush in the emergency room for some period of time. So, I have a little special love whenever I see stuff like this come up. But in particularly, they're using Apple Vision Pro headsets in endoscopy and looking in terms of dealing with colon cancer. So that's pretty cool, and it seems to be part of their regular story. There is another article in here from the television station Fox 32 from Chicago, and they talk about Rush Medical Center tests Apple Vision Pro to help detect colon cancer. This kind of has a little special meaning for me because you guys know this, and maybe some of the audience knows this, that I had colon cancer 4 years ago. And so all of this is, the idea that this is being used for detection of cancer and other things is just exciting for me. Or it's being used to help that process in a way. Any thoughts?
I mean, anything to improve the ergonomics of the surgeons, especially if it's going to take a long time. They note, having to look up at monitors and whatnot often. And yeah, I mean, just even doing not surgery and having to look up at screens and up and down is annoying. Now there is on the ergonomics angle, there is a little bit of a catch there though, because of the weight of the thing. But I imagine still it's better than having to do a lot of the repetitive motion.
Now that would
And
have
then they
been
mentioned
something.
using like,
Yeah, go ahead.
they mentioned using like potentially using AI, like visual AI, or well, I guess really just computer vision, frankly, to help point out things in real time as things are going on, and that'll be obviously really cool as well. Which actually, as I say that aloud, they weren't doing that already. I mean, computer vision and a video feed on the screen.
Well,
They weren't doing
here's
that
what they were.
already.
Here's what they were doing. Because I got this article 3 years ago from my son. They were looking at all the scans that had been done, and they were kind of comparing what they were seeing with a current patient with the thousands of scans that had been put into a database, so they could then, and they also knew the end result of what was in the database, so they could then say, oop, what we see on your scan really looks like, when compared to 10,000 other scans, like you might have something going on there that would normally not be detected. So there was like an earlier detection when they were able to do that. My guess is they're probably doing some of the similar stuff, like let's take a picture of this and then let's compare it to thousands of pictures of polyps and determine what we need to do here in real time.
But the big thing though is that if you have to look through the camera as you're running through, and then you have to glance over to that little AI note thing saying, "Oh yeah, here," being able to put all of that in front of your eyes so that you're not staring at one thing and then looking over and staring at something else and and so now every time I go into the hospital for a procedure or take somebody else to a procedure, I watch how many different monitors and how many times they have to look at one thing and then turn away and look at something else, or they have a dedicated person who's reading numbers off telling them what the other screen is. So being able to put it all together, I think, is going to be really helpful.
And remember
I was
that those
playing.
screens actually usually also cost about as much as a Vision Pro
Yes.
per screen.
Yeah, I was playing around with Vision Pro tonight in front of my computer setup and switched it into not mirroring, but the virtual display, and got that whole panorama with everything that was on my three monitors in one. And it was like, whoa, that was just kind of fun to experience again. So I imagine those multiple displays can show up in Vision Pro space for whoever's doing the work with it.
Yeah.
Any other comments? All right. Then we go to our favorite subject of the time, patents.
Well, your favorite subject.
Yeah. Well, how many
But
of
we
these
like
come
we
true?
like joining you with it.
How many? Yeah, I'm dragging you through this.
No.
So yeah, this week Apple filed for a series of new trademarks and won several design patents, and primarily they're doing this with the dual knit band and trying to get those designs approved. And the article has a whole series of these that have come through that are related to the base mounted display. And then some other ones that are related to Creator Studio. But primarily the Vision Pro stuff was the dual knit band. So that's cool. A couple of other that are related to more so what future glasses might be or have that influence in the potential for future glasses. So this one was Apple invents a new rendering architecture for Vision Pro that boosts effective resolution. And this article has pictures or diagrams to kind of show how this process is going to work. Higher effective resolution at the eye, dynamic foveated rendering optimized by real-time gaze tracking. And we've heard about these kinds of things. Binocular gaze optimization. Improved battery life and thermal management. So another good patent article. And then finally this one, which was a surprise to me. Apple patents reveal flexible electronic bridge system for possible future modular AR glasses. So they are essentially the bridge across the top of your glasses essentially will be able to shift, change, adjust as necessary. And it talks about this electronic bridge that goes across.
Yeah, that one. Actually, I read that one more. I was thinking more Apple Watch, in the sense that what if instead of like you could change out watch bands when you have like a smart glasses, what if you can change out the front fascia of the glasses, different styles, but you don't have to have whole different compute units. You can just kind of swap them out, like you could swap out bands. That's kind of how I was. That's kind of, or rather, I should say, that was the impression I was getting behind this one, and which actually would seem actually kind of Apple-y to do, because like, would you want to have have to do a whole new SKU just to change the frame shape, or your prescription changes?
Yeah, or if you want to go to like straight indoor glasses to outdoor sunglasses with prescription.
Yeah,
it
if you're
really
not a
looks like
transitions fan or something like that.
yeah, swappable passive display frame is what they're talking about here, and then this flexible electrical bridge that will adjust that through the device. Pretty interesting stuff. It's time somebody wake Dave up. We're done with the patent section.
Nah, I'm just listening. It's good stuff.
Okay, so let's go to probably Apple is doggone Apple. It is the immersive video that came out just, I think it was Friday.
Yep, it was.
All right, so let's take first impressions. I'm curious if you have had a chance to see it. Who has had a chance to see it? I did. Eric, and Daniel, did you see any of this?
I had not.
Man, well, I'm trying to give you more reason to put those headsets on. This is actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool whether you like dogs or not. Did you watch both episodes?
I did.
Yep, so did I.
Yep.
Okay, so
if your bandwidth isn't really high, I strongly suggest downloading an episode first before you watch it. Otherwise, you get into it and it says, and you then have to wait. So
you are download challenged.
but it's big enough that downloading.
Yeah, Eric is always telling us about how difficult it is in the North Woods.
Apparently, because I don't ever have a problem.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I didn't even know about that dog show before. It was really cool. Like, apparently it's very prestigious and in Manchester, UK, and I had no idea. There's some absolutely adorable dogs. I mean, the Papillon was the one that was like the most. It was really cute, and so many others. But the one thing that got me, and I don't say it's just a immersive video. I'm not going to spoil anything, but when they were putting the ball into that base where the dog would run to grab the ball and come back, and then did kind of doing a couple times. All of a sudden, the dog grabbed it, and the ball went. Oh, I literally did that.
Yep.
And I hadn't reacted that way to any other immersive video before of all the
And
ones
one-
I've watched. And
Yeah, one
That
lost the
one-
ball and then had to run across the
Yeah.
court to pick it up.
yeah, this one flung right into the camera. I'm like, oh god,
Yeah.
that really freaked me out.
That- That was
But
very
very
realistic,
well
and
done.
there was definitely a dump.
Very well done, and it got me into the.
Yeah.
And it was the nice thing was it was short. It wasn't you have to like the Westminster's I think going on right now, and they're gonna have the I think the Best in Show is tomorrow at Madison Square Garden, but everybody watches that in the U.S. But it was it just didn't know about that show. It's just like F1. You find out about things you didn't know about, and it blows amazing how incredibly popular it is. And the one was like it from Italy, so it was from all over the world. It was those are worldwide. Dogs were from Belgium and from France and from just everywhere. Not a few people from the U.S. So it was just it was a very very entertaining and enjoyable. And I'm hoping to show a lot of my family, big dog lovers. I told them you got to watch this. You're going to absolutely love it.
Yeah, I have been oohing and on the couch trying to convince Aileen this might be the time you want to put this headset on. The last time she had it on was for orangutans. And I enjoyed it. I like the fact that they talked about it in terms of 20,000 dogs come, and then they have to get a smaller portion actually make it into the breed.
Right.
And then from the breed, they make it into sort of the category. And from the category, they move into best in each category, and then finally best in show. So it kind of explained the whole process for me, which was pretty cool. You know, Eric, I've complained about videos being too close. And so I watched it first with the whole immersion thing. And yeah, the dogs were too close. And then I noticed that little button where you can kind of push it out and put it as a frame. And I did that, and I didn't like it as much because it did kind of flatten it out. But then I, had my environment around me, and it really kind of made the field of view, depth of field really deep. So like people would come in on the front of the screen, and the action in the back was way far away. It was just very weird. It was for me. So I went back to the immersion and I said, oh, okay, so I'm just going to be too close to the dog. But there is that option. I got it. It seemed to be a little bit less challenging to my eyes when I switched to that. But it didn't give me the depth of field issues with that. Just made it feel different for me. So thanks for pointing that out all this time, and I finally paid attention to it and tried it with this.
Tried it.
I like that the videos in the middle had some action, both of them. Like they had the thing with the ball that I never knew there were teams that would come, dogs that are trained to do relay, basically, with the ball, and that was fascinating to watch. And then the second episode has the slalom, or what do you call it, where they're running through an obstacle course essentially, and they're being timed with that. And I actually watched the dogs, but I paid a lot of attention to the owners because the owners seemed like man, they were kicking it. They were really kicking it to make it happen. So.
Oh, that dog show world is insane. I mean, I have a friend that would go to these dog shows, and I was there with him. I'm like, oh my god, how insanely they are with that. I mean, they had beagles that they were showing, and it was it's intense. that you don't mess with them when they're showing. You don't mess with them. You just stand back and watch.
The funny thing is, as I was watching this, especially the second episode, the final, there's 2 episodes, end
Right.
of show.
Short episodes.
All I could think of was Best in Show, that comedy one. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
man, these people are
Eugene
real
Levy.
and they really nailed it, in terms of some
yeah.
of the twists of these folks. How I have to get a second suit, and there's just a whole
Yeah.
piece of that.
I didn't bring a suit. I didn't think I needed it.
So, Eric, any comments on this?
Yeah, well, it was a lot of fun. I will say that. There is one thing, and I know you didn't see it, but I swear there is an Easter egg at the end when the Apple logo comes out. I will describe it just in case anybody else can find it. I believe there are 2 endings. One ending is a very narrow cone of light that comes down with an Apple logo. That one, as far as I can tell, nothing happens. The other one is a very wide cone with a large Apple logo that comes down. And in the top part of the Apple, crawling down the side outside of the actual logo is a little bug that crawls down. If you bring up the controls to kind of like go back 10 seconds or whatever, that covers that area up perfectly, so you see nothing. So you have to back up enough to hit play, wait long enough for the controls to go away, and then when it comes up, you get the little bug in the version. If you don't have the right version, you have to go all the way back to the beginning, watch the beginning sequence, and then you can kind of skip ahead towards the end, and you get the other ending.
So is this in
I
both
swear it's
episodes?
there.
Is this in both
In both of
episodes?
them. Yes, in both of them. But I
Yeah,
didn't
it's the
see
Apple
it
logo
until the
and
second
exit.
time I watched it. Yeah. So, and then there was something that was listed about how you could get like a little plastic insert piece to drop in the corner of the eye opening that will keep the Vision Pro running as if you were wearing it. So if you want to try and film something, you can keep it going. So I haven't found the exact spot yet, but I'm going to take like a little piece of paper and see if I can wedge it in there so that I can take it off and then film the spot.
To film.
I know this had nothing to be able to film to show the bug, because you can't take a screenshot of it. So I was going to just take a picture with my phone. But of course, when you take it off, you can't see. But if you cover up the little spot in the corner of the eyes, it stays running.
Well, it's nice to know people have priorities in their life. That's all
I
I'm
was going
saying.
to say, I never would have noticed that.
Maybe you should hang around hospitals and shame people who are wearing headsets. Then maybe that's your next.
Now, I will say, like Daniel, when I'm using it, I try to pick a spot that's not facing anyone. Although when I'm at the coffee shop, they rearrange the tables. So now if I sit not facing people, I'm facing the door that people come in. So the first thing they see is me staring at them.
And they're probably thinking, oh, the show off. He's just showing off. He sits right by the door so we can see him.
You got some good comments. I got to bring these comments up. It says Stadler and Waldorf. This Easter egg sounds a little cray. I think Eric is just messing with us.
I swear it's in there.
Yeah.
How do you know it wasn't actually a bug crawling on your lens inside the headset?
I thought of that. I took apart everything. I cleaned all of the pieces because I thought, oh, darn. But when I saw it twice and it was in the same spot, and then when I rewound it, because Marty said he didn't see it, so I rewound to go watch it, and I was like, oh, this is a totally different ending. And then I rewound all the way back to the beginning and went through, and it's like, oh, well, okay, there's 2 versions of it. And if you have the controls up, you can't see it. So they don't make it easy.
So how are you getting 2 versions? Are they streaming different versions to you, although it's the same episode? Or what do you mean they have multiple versions?
If you go all the way back to the beginning, so that you see that initial Apple TV logo animation sequence, and then you can skip ahead to the end, and whatever you get is the one version. Go all the way back to the beginning, watch the little sequence again, skip ahead, and then you get the other version.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if everybody does this next week and says, all right, I went back and forth 20 times, nothing, we will speak of it no more.
Is this just
But
a
I swear it's
sad
this is why
attempt at getting attention?
this is why I wanted to be able to figure out how to take a picture of it, so I had a screenshot.
Yeah. Yeah. You sent us in our text message. You sent a picture of it with a little line, a circle around it that said, "This is
This
where
looks like
you
a big
It's
see
too
it."
blob.
blurry. Yeah, but it's too blurry to see it because, I'm wedging a phone past my eyeball trying to take the picture, and that didn't work. So
Oh
I
wow.
I will get one eventually. It was
See if it's
painful, but I was
noticeable.
willing to try
There you
squeezing
go.
it in there.
Look at that
Yeah.
crazy thing he sent us.
Yeah, well, there it is. Crystal clear right there.
I can't
Yeah.
see it. I need a couple more red arrows
Yeah.
pointing to point it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Took a lot out
So
of you, that
yeah,
one.
watch the dog show. Let's just
Yeah,
put
it was
that
good.
way.
It was, please, I definitely say it's a must watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of articles. I'll keep them in the show notes. I don't know if they're much to talk about, but they did come out kind of reviews, and not only reviews of Apple Vision Pro, but I'll just move through these and then we can talk maybe about the gaming piece. I don't know if Eric, you watched the video production. It was pretty intense in terms of a lot of the stuff. But so these kind of review articles. This one was a multi-core Apple Vision Pro, the 2026 review. And it talks about dropped 2 years ago. And it gives a kind of good review overall of the history of it. And a bit of an optimistic kind of article about the future, I think. Of course, they make comparisons with MetaQuest 3. And
Yeah, it was very well balanced and
yeah,
very thoughtful.
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of seemed very aware of both hype and anti-hype, I
yeah,
suppose. Kind of seemed to avoid both of those and take a very balanced approach to it. I really appreciated it actually because I don't for the most part there was nothing I really disagreed with in it. Nothing was outrageous or exaggerating or glowing or all throwing shade on it. It was just right.
yeah,
And I've
yeah.
been seeing a lot of other other social like YouTube videos and stuff like that pop up lately. Probably all around being the 2-year mark as well.
Yeah.
Some of them kind of coming to similar conclusions too, like just being a little more well balanced outside of the hype zones, and I maybe a common sentiment could be changing. I think a lot of that though comes from people that aren't buying it and would never buy it anyway. So it's like there's just so much noise, But that's also just Apple, right? Everyone loves to hate Apple. I mean, I do too, actually. Like, of course I do, but also, I mean, I like to, I can like their products and still be hypercritical.
Another article that came out today was kind of a review, and I know you guys are not wild about this, but the Galaxy XR review, a great Vision Pro alternative, but for you, who is the question? Talks about problems with optimized apps or not optimized apps, kind of a limited appeal, and most apps are just floating windows. It's a great design, lightweight. I still don't like the back of the head compression piece with it. And the interface feels a lot different. It feels like more of a Google kind of interface with it. So, yeah. And of course, cheaper, about half the price of a Vision Pro. So we'll have that. And then the last article, which was kind of a review, Tony Fadell slams AI first hype and calls Apple Vision Pro an abject failure. And he was a former Apple executive credited as the father of the iPod and founder of Nest. He gave kind of a critical assessment. This was part of a podcast on the Newcomer podcast. He weighed in on everything from current types of the hype cycle around artificial intelligence, who's going to take Apple's top job. I don't know. I'm not familiar with this guy. Dave, do you have any history or
I
knowledge of him?
think he sounds familiar with iPod. So I think it's
Creator of the
very
iPod.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of old. He's a really old Apple head. Back there's actually a really good book of he wrote called Build, and it actually has a lot of interesting Apple history too. A lot of it around the iPod, but so I mean, Tony Fadell is definitely a name in the Apple cinematic universe to like, oh, you know, in the
Yep.
tier of like a Johnny Ive saying something or yeah, so
Yeah. Actually, Stadler has a comment that says you should bring on a Samsung XR user on and do comparisons, maybe a week swap from the previous article.
what
In
about a
terms of
boxing match?
yeah, sort of like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah, but you have to be wearing the headsets.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, we'll do it spatially.
Yeah. Huh.
It's
Yeah,
actually a good idea.
yeah. There's some interesting art. This comes out of iClarified, and there's some interesting comments in here that's kind of worth taking a look at and considering. Apple would be crazy not to release a smart ring, noting that the company has the health expertise and ecosystem to dominate. They also have a watch that does a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, I don't think a ring helps them as much as a watch does. I do
Yeah.
agree with them on the AI pin. That kind of wearable, I think, is a bit of a problem. Um, it doesn't really match up. It's hard to control,
Yeah.
and it's going to be interesting to see how they solve the problem of glasses that have cameras and restrictions on when you can and can't use those, and how do you let people around you know what's going on?
Yeah. Okay, so gaming. Let's move to this. This is an article that came from Game Informer. And Apple Vision Pro is a sleeping gaming beast. And talks about ways in which augmented reality, spatial computing, and something else, no matter the device, the question mark is still around Apple and the MetaQuest. Both have made a significant difference in that. So, but pointing to Apple as having some possibilities to be able to do and be able to kind of do some cool things with gaming if they had that. I've got the Sony hand devices, and they actually work pretty good with it once you get it hooked up with the Vision Pro. And there have been some other hand devices. Daniel, I know you and I both got some trackers and for it for gaming purposes, and they didn't work out as well for me in terms of getting them set up and getting them Bluetooth and synced and all of that. So we'll have that link in there.
And my problem with the premise of the article is that, like, you could also say that about Macs.
Yeah.
I mean, they do, what games there are, they can perform really well. It's just, do they care to do that? Like, I don't know what makes it any better. Like, yes, it is a sleeping gaming beast, but you need the developers there to make them. And frankly, gamers are pretty price sensitive, in my opinion. And they're not that while a lot of them will spend $3,500 on a gaming rig, not many of them are. But that's like a 10-year kind of device-ish, 10-year-ish device. Whereas, I don't know if you can say that about any headset right now, and especially if there's no software for it. And yeah, you can stream, ALVR and stream the games, and but you're still then dependent on having a machine to stream it from.
So we'll see how it expands. I would be interested in hearing Ben Rothig's comments on this, who is like the gamer guy one of the gamer guys that I know, and he has strong feelings about Apple and its possibilities. I am going to this article, which is not really an article, but it's a YouTube video. High quality Apple immersive video encoder with compression, and it's an AIVU workflow. And I don't know if y'all made it through this article or this video. It's a 10-minute video, and I'm going to run some. There's lots of plugs in here. Let's just put it that way. There's lots of breaks for commercials and things like that. The guy's energy is so high it drives me a little nuts. But, he's got a YouTube channel. Why he feels he needs to wear the Vision Pro headset through the whole description when he's really not using the headset other than wearing it as a prop. Did you take any look at this, Eric, in terms of what he's trying to convey here?
I did. There was an earlier version of this that he did, and he's involved with the spatial film app, I believe, where they're trying to get a bunch of people to film spatial video and put it out in a marketplace in a way to get more high quality content out there. And one of the parts of that is educating film people on how to do it in a way that looks good, how to get the audio looking good, how to get the video looking good, what restrictions there are, what works, what doesn't work. And in this particular case, how do you do a whole workflow from the cameras all the way through to the end project? What pieces do you need? So it's all helpful. And if you're trying to actually produce something, it gives you all of the points and sticking areas and what presets. There's a couple spots where it's like, the default is good. There are other spots where the default values just are not right and you need to change them. Otherwise you get bad results. So it's very practical.
Yeah, it's he starts off talking about the Creator Suite, which was released this last week. It has compressor in it, and apparently that's an important part of doing these kinds of things. He goes into discuss editing with DaVinci Resolve, which again is an alternative to Final Cut, but does some pretty remarkable stuff and is available, I think, both on the iPad and also on Mac OS. I'm watching this video on my other screen and I still can't figure out why does he have the headset on through the whole thing? Unless maybe he's getting show notes
Well, because
or
at
the
any
script.
point, well, and you also then the subject matter. No matter when you watch the video, oh, it's a Vision Pro thing.
Yeah, well, don't the
But
two,
one of the pieces in there,
the two $20,000 cameras that he's between give you a good indication
yeah.
that
Well, and he is
it's
recording
Well, and I
too.
think that's where
So-
the DaVinci, yeah.
yeah.
Well, and that's where the DaVinci Resolve fits into, because that's the software that goes with the cameras. It has all the plugins and everything. But one of the other points is reviewing your video in a Vision Pro. So part of the workflow is sending something back to the Vision Pro to look at it to see how it went. So maybe that's why he's got it on.
Yeah, it's cool.
He's
and,
enthusiastic.
Yeah, Cletus just joined us in the chat room, and he was running late tonight. But this guy seems like he knows his stuff. I'm not doubting that, and I'm not mocking him or anything like that. But it is fast and it is pretty deep. You kind of have to know your stuff to get through the video, but it does show kind of the whole process and that it can be done. Dave, did you have something? I thought I cut you off.
Oh, no, you did.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Then let's look at apps. And our first app was, I think this popped up for me in Reddit, and I was curious about it, and was able to load it. Apparently, there are not only Vision Pro versions, which is what I saw on Reddit, but also iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch. It's Papa's Ball and Tea. Okay, now that leads itself to a whole series of jokes. If you want to do that, did any of you try this thing?
I did not.
Oh man,
Yeah, I couldn't really tell what it was.
No, I'm familiar with this concept, and this is one of those things that drives me absolutely nuts. Because I can get the ball off the tee, but I can spend hours and not get it back on the tee. And yeah, I had strong feelings about this. I actually downloaded it. It's actually on, and I haven't gotten the will to actually start it up yet, because I have to be calm first, and I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, I've got to give. Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Or
So I was saying it's for all four platforms, so
yeah,
it's not just Vision Pro, but which is great. You can interact with them.
So are you just trying to get the ball back on the tee, kind of like
Tee.
the
Yes.
string in the
Yeah.
cup, the ball.
Cup.
and string
Yeah,
in
that's
the
what I was
cup
going to
thing?
say.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
flipping the ball into the cup, and
Where's that?
it looks
from now? Look
simple.
at that.
It looks simple. At least the cup is big enough to fit the ball in it. Whereas this is just a little tiny tee. I've got to give credit. The graphics on this were great. I mean, it is very cool. And I played with it for about 10 minutes. And as it says, a delightful frustration in a shared space. Flick it, bend it, repeat. And, I was bringing it closer to me, bringing it farther away, then trying to get the thing. And I could get the thing spinning, but it would never kind of stop when I wanted it to stop to have the ball land on it. It's kind of a fun.
So were you ever successful?
Was I ever successful? No. I had other things to do. I had to go look at imaginary bugs at the end of videos.
Okay, that might have been my fault, which is probably why I didn't actually get to the point of being relaxed enough to be willing to frustrate myself with the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next app. This is AirDraw, and there was a nice little article on it. Slick 3D drawing for Vision Pro. I think we've mentioned this app before. It has been
Yeah.
kind of updated from what I can tell recently, and very kind of cool thing that you can do with it. You know, drawing within the air. Then you have the palette. You turn your left hand up, and the palette comes up. It's just kind of. And what is he dropping? Little blue.
Blips.
Yeah, you can
Oops.
turn on a physics mode and play around. I was playing around with it earlier, drawing some frankly inappropriate shapes, and then having fun watching them fall to the ground. And like, it's just weird.
Uh, so that's a fun little app. And I saw this, and then I you know, it's and you can use your Muse pen too with this if you want
I was going
to
to say,
use.
might be a reason for me to try it.
Yeah,
I still
and
haven't.
it is apparently only Apple Vision Pro, so you can do that. And then this last one, I saw it and I was like, oh goody goody. The ad, the person was demoing it or showing it, and I'm like, oh, it's out, it's out. No, it's not out.
Not yet.
3 more days. Retrocade, and there's been some video of this out and about, and in fact, there's some video right there for folks who are watching the stream.
It's iPhone, iPad, and Vision Pro.
Yeah. But my understanding is if you get the like iPad or iPhone version, you're not getting the whole console. You're just getting the flat screen of these
Yeah.
apps. And so you're not getting the spatial kind of walk around the box experience.
No, this is an Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a number of arcade VR games lately and associated peripherals I've seen. Like there's one where it's a whole like 2-person button setup, has like every type of arcade kind of control all in one jig, and then like even with the little pinball pole, like to shoot the ball to start and the side buttons,
Yeah.
and it's all meant to also be used in a VR environment because it can be tracked as well. It'd be cool to see like this support that. I mean, it may even. I was just pulling up the page to see if they do. And frankly, I kind of want one of those peripheral controller jigs to that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I can't wait to get this thing, and I'll. Hey, it'll come out the day of the conference that I'm presenting on this. So maybe it'll be some new toy to play with when I'm presenting. Cletus in the chat room says, "Did the guys talk about the Apple Q acquisition from Israel?" No, we really didn't. I'm trying to find a connection to Vision Pro with that. That article came up in the feed again today, and it's a big talk because it's big money, and I think we're going to see some primarily things related to accessibility because I know we talked about it on Dave's show. We also have
Right.
talked about it on Chuck's show, and I think this is going to be a big accessibility win for Apple to be acquiring the company and working with the company. And you think of other devices and other companies, they're not really front and center with the accessibility stuff like Apple is. Just like they're not front and center with the health stuff like Apple is. So I think those are the two of the big winners for Apple over other devices. Okay. Let's see. I mean, that's it for what we've got. All of this will be in the show notes, so you can pick it up either in the show notes of the video or the show notes of the audio version of the show. And you can follow us live stream on youtube.com/@visionprofiles. That's also our channel. So you can look at some of the past videos that we have on there and connect. We're live Monday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the video later and on YouTube or the audio on any podcatcher service. Really, thank you guys for doing this. 90 shows now. Can't wait to get to 100. But it kind of started and never thought, I didn't know if this was going to catch on. And we have a good set of subscribers for this kind of niche show that we do. And it's fun. It's just fun every week to put this together and to spend Friday nights with you. So let's find out where we can find you. I'm going to start with Daniel.
I'm here every other week or so. And otherwise, my only social I have is Blue Sky @IO_Expander.
All right. Dave.
Yes, you can find me at In Touch with iOS, intouchwithios.com. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/intouchwithios. I'm here on Monday nights, Vision Profiles, Marty, Eric, and Daniel. Tuesday nights on Mac Voices Live. Thursday nights we record the In Touch with iOS show. And on Fridays, I'm on the Mac show on the British Tech Network. You could find me on social media at Blue Sky and Mastodon at DaveG65.
Eric.
I can be found on Mastodon at EABolden at mas.to. Otherwise, of course, here on Monday nights, Tuesday nights on Mac Voices Live, Thursdays on In Touch with iOS, kind of progressing through all of the different OSs throughout the week.
And you can find me at Gencius, Jencius, both at Blue Sky and also Mastodon.social. Monday nights here with Vision Profiles, Tuesday with Chuck Joyner on Mac Voices, and Thursday with Dave on In Touch with iOS. Friday mornings when I can break away to join the Mac show, which is always a great fun on the British Tech Network. All the projects that I'm involved with are at thepodtalk.net, and got other fun shows that we're doing. I just did another 15-minute bites today that we should have out in the next hour or so. A show that's about 5 minutes of tech talk and about 10 minutes of recipe talk with folks. And so I know some of these gentlemen are going to join me on it in the future. We have other great folks lined up for it. Just did another Fade to Chat. This time we did How to Steal $1 Million, Audrey Hepburn and Peter O'Toole kind of rom-com from the 60s. Just doing some fun stuff. Check it out at the podtalk.net website. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Learn more about us and the Vision Profile podcast at the website, thepodtalk.net. Our email, I mentioned, is thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of the chat room. And we'll see you next time.